Carl, you're standing here in my garden with a wolf. What on earth are you doing with a wolf in Knysna?
We're travelling around South Africa, and I'm exploring and getting to know South Africa, and what better way than to do it with a wolf that is your pet. Partly it's inspired by John Steinbeck's Travels with Charlie in Search of America, which I think was published in the 60s and is a classic and was a bestseller. So she's my pet. She's almost 12 years old, and that's what we're doing.
And there's a reason why she's continually hiding behind you, isn't there?
She's very shy. Wolves are not aggressive animals. They will normally lurk in the undergrowth and watch people. And you can also see she's getting old. The one canine broke off the other day. But I went into David Deitz's office when he was CEO of Cape Nature, and he had the most stunning wolf poster on his wall. And I said, David, what are you doing with a wolf poster? And he said he'd been to the wolf sanctuary in South France. And it was a reminder of that trip, because that sanctuary attracts more tourists than Cape Town does. And that's the power of nature. So she's a fascinating animal. She's not aggressive.
She's not aggressive. Why have you got her on the chain?
Because she doesn't listen. You know, they say if you call a cat, it comes. At least if you call a dog, it comes. If you call a cat, it takes a message and gets back to you.
Wolves the same?
Wolves are the same. She'll do what she wants to do when she wants to do it, when it suits her. She can be good. She's still wild, though. You know, you never get the wild out of them completely.
How did she come to be in South Africa?
She was born here. Someone brought in a breeding pair, and she was born in South Africa.
And what sort of reception has she got around the country?
Well, we've stayed in hotels, nature reserves, guest houses, B&Bs in the last, many times in the Western Cape, but over the last year in Limpopo, Mpumalanga, Gauteng, and she's welcome back everywhere. And many of these are places that don't accept dogs.
But she's not a dog.
No. And
I believe that you had an argument with a beach constable on that.
Well, that was she was 6 months old, and I was running her on Clifton Beach at a time when she should have been on the leash, and the beach constable sort of came up officiously, wanting to write out a ticket, and I said, but it's a wolf, it's not a dog, it can't bark. And I just said, do you give cats tickets? And he said no, and that confused him completely. They're incredibly intelligent animals. When she was 6 months old, she learned to open the fridge with her claws. Now, maybe you should focus on them, because her paws are different to her dog's. And she's got these long paws.
Oh, yes.
And she opened the fridge, so I locked it. And 2 weeks later, the fridge was emptied again. And
well, she's only human, after all.
I cursed myself for not locking it. And 2 days later, it was emptied again, so I started following her around the house. And she'd learned to turn the keys with her teeth. She'd realized that she needs to turn the key, and then it will open.
Carl, where are you staying while you're here in the garden route?
At Lake Pleasant, in one of the villas that are managed by Mantis, by the Mantis Group.
And is she well received there?
Very, very, very.
So they don't have a no-wolf policy?
Certainly not. Everybody's come out to see her, and it needed permission of the body corporate, which they got, and they took photographs of her when she arrived, and she's probably the most prominent visitor they've ever had.
Well, I would think she's probably the most intelligent. I certainly like what she's had to say all day.
She's
Carl,
enjoyed it, though.
You've been writing about this and blogging about this. If we wanted to find out more about her,
if you go to capeinfo.com, there's a link on the home page. Otherwise, if you Google Akela, that's Akela, I think she's at the top, or very close to the top. any Google search for Akela.